I'm Nick Friggin! Okay!
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent stars Nicolas Cage as himself, and it is a movie that is all about Nicolas Cage and kind of what his life is going through at the moment. There are a lot of great moments throughout the film. There are a lot of great lessons actually contained in the film, and I really, really enjoyed it. Prior to going in to see this movie, I thought I had a pretty decent idea as to what it was that I was going to be getting, that what I was going to be seeing in this film. I thought it was kind of going to be this buddy comedy between these two guys who are best friends and they absolutely love each other, but at the same time they're secretly working against each other, as we see in the trailer that Nicolas Cage is working for the CIA and Pedro Pascal is a supposed drug dealer. And so I thought that's kind of all that it was going to be, but there really is a lot more to this film other than just that. There's a lot about Nick Cage and his family and kind of the relationship that he has there. In fact, relationships is a big thing in this movie in total. Relationships between family, relationships between friends, and that's something that you see, this idea of loyalty to your family, taking care of your family, and things like that. And so I really liked that aspect of the film. There's also surprisingly a lot more action in this movie than I had anticipated, particularly towards the end of it. It does kind of pick up the pace and turn a little bit more into your action style blockbuster rather than that character study comedy that we had towards the beginning of the movie, which they kind of lead into that earlier in the film because they make a comment about this script that they're writing and how it's going to be a movie that contains all of these different things that people enjoy, from action and adventure to comedy and characters and stuff like that. And so this film kind of displays that it has a little bit of everything that a lot of different people are going to enjoy. For me, though, the definite standout about the film was Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. I loved their two characters, and I particularly loved when they were on screen together. It led to some of the funniest moments in the film, as well as some of the most heartfelt and important moments as well. And so it was a really, really good relationship that they had on screen. And so one of the other things that I like about this film is that the story isn't overly complicated. It's not like you haven't seen anything like it before. And as you're watching the film, you can guess what's going to be happening later on. It does kind of foreshadow a lot of things, and so it's kind of easy to follow. It's not super complicated, but they're not really focusing so much on that. They want to focus on the characters and the relationships, and I think they did a really, really good job at that. Now, when it comes to the cleanliness side of this film, it is rated R, so that's going to tell you right from the beginning that there are some things that you have to watch out for, and in this film particularly, it is the swearing. There is quite a lot of swearing throughout the entirety of the film. There's a lot of uses of the F words, but the swearing itself is really the only major thing in the movie. There are a couple of references to some sexual things, as well as some action, but the action isn't anything that I haven't seen in other blockbuster movies. It's not gory, it's not overly violent, it's just your typical blockbuster action. And so it was a little bit disappointing to see that it's only rated R because of the swearing. Because swearing is usually something that you can tend to cut out a little bit easier from a film. And they could have made this a nice PG-13 adventure that more people could have seen, because it really does have a great story. It's got a great message. I really, really like the comedy, but that swearing gives it the R rating, and it's going to limit how many people are able to watch it. So that was a bit disappointing. But overall, it's a fun film, and let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts. So like I mentioned before, there is a lot of things to love about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's got a lot of different things that various people are going to enjoy, from action to comedy to a character study and interactions between these characters and the relationships that they build together. The characters are wonderful. I loved Nicolas Cage as himself, and I love Pedro Pascal. I especially loved how they worked together on screen. And it all made for a movie that I found myself really, really enjoying, despite not really knowing what I was going to get when I went into the theater. And so I really liked that. And for a rating, I'm going to go ahead and give this one an A. The only reason that it doesn't get an A+, or there are actually several reasons, but I thought it was just a lot of fun. But it does have that swearing, and that's going to lead us right into the cleanliness rating as well. Like I mentioned before, it's just the swearing. That's the main thing. A lot of F words and a lot of other cuss words. A little bit of sexual references and some action, but the swearing is your big problem, and for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a B- on the cleanliness rating. Not something that I would recommend taking your children to, probably something that you weren't anticipating taking your children to, being that it is rated R. But if you by chance have an option to watch it in a clean version when it comes out on DVD, I would recommend giving it a shot. It's got a fun message to it. It's got some fun comedy. It's just that swearing that you have to try and find a way to work your kids around. So those are my thoughts on The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. What did you guys think of it? Have you had the opportunity to see it? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought, and look forward to more videos coming in the future.